Welcome back to Landlord Pass and 3 p.m. BC. I'm Amanda. By now, you've screened your tenants, signed a solid agreement, and handled deposits properly. The next big risk is insurance. One bad event can wipe out years of rental income if you're not covered properly. And in BC, rental insurance is not just one policy. It's a 3-policy system. Most landlords assume someone else's policy will cover them. The tenant's policy or the strata's policy. Often it doesn't. That gap is what causes the really big losses. In this module, I'll walk you through how those 3 policies work and what to watch for so you don't get caught in the middle. Let me start with 3 quick examples that come up again and again. First, the dishwasher leak in a condo. A dishwasher hose fails and water damages the unit below and the one below that. The strata insurer pays for the building repairs, but the building has a $50,000 water deductible. The strata turns to the owner whose unit the water came from and asks them to reimburse the deductible. The landlord's policy has strata deductible assessment coverage, but the limit is only $10,000. The owner pays the other $40,000 out of pocket. Second, the overland flood. Heavy rain causes a creek to overflow into a basement suite. The landlord thinks they have water damage coverage, but their policy didn't include overland flood. Water that enters from outside, overland, is treated differently from a burst pipe inside. The claim is denied. Third, the tenant's laptop. A pipe bursts and ruins a tenant's $3,000 laptop and other belongings. The tenant assumes the landlord's insurance will pay. The landlord's policy usually covers the unit and landlord's fixtures, not tenant contents. Now the tenant is angry, there's a dispute, and the landlord has to explain that tenant contents were never covered. All 3 situations are avoidable once you understand the 3 different policies in play. Policy 1 is your landlord insurance. That's your policy. It usually covers the property itself, the house or cabin, or your condo unit, and any upgrades your things in the unit, appliances, blinds, and any furnishings you provide your liability. If someone is injured or sues you, and often loss of rent. If an insured loss makes the unit unlivable while repairs happen. In BC, a common target for liability is at least $2 million because medical and legal costs can be high. Policy 2 is tenant insurance. That's the tenant's policy. It usually covers their belongings, furniture, clothes, electronics, their liability, if they cause damage or someone gets hurt, their extra living costs, hotels or short-term rentals if they have to move out after a loss. BC law doesn't force tenants to buy this, but you can make it a required term in your tenancy agreement if you do it before they sign. Policy 3 is the strata insurance for condos. This is the building's policy. It usually covers the common areas, roof, hallways, elevators, exterior walls, often the original fixtures and units, the base cabinets and flooring. It usually does not cover your upgrades, your appliances, or tenant contents. This is also the policy with the large building deductible that can be charged back to you if a loss starts in your unit and you're responsible. For condo landlords, the deductible is the big one to watch. Under BC's Strata Property Act, if a loss starts in your unit and you're responsible, the strata can come after you for the deductible on the building's policy. So, imagine the building has a $50,000 water deductible. If your dishwasher or washing machine causes a major leak, the strata's insurer might pay for the building repairs, and then the strata asks you to reimburse that $50,000. Your landlord policy may have strata deductible assessment coverage, but if the limit is too low, you pay the difference personally. A simple routine helps here. Once a year, when the strata renews its insurance, ask for the insurance certificate. Look at the water damage deductible and any special deductibles. Call your broker and say, "Please match my strata deductible assessment limit to the building's deductible." While you're on the phone, confirm that your unit upgrades, nicer flooring, upgraded cabinets, anything you added, are properly insured. This takes maybe half an hour once a year, and it can be the difference between a small deductible and a $50,000 surprise. There are 3 big BC-specific risks to pay attention to: water, earthquakes, and flood. Water damage is the most common problem in condos. One appliance can affect several units. You want to understand exactly how your policy defines water damage and how it connects to the strata deductible. Earthquakes are a lower probability event, but high impact. In BC, earthquake coverage is often an optional add-on, and the deductible is usually a percentage of the building's value, not a flat number. That can mean a deductible in the tens of thousands or more. You can ask your broker about an earthquake deductible buyback or buy-down. That's an extra layer that reduces that very large deductible to something more manageable, like a few $1,000s. Overland flood versus sewer backup is the third area that causes confusion. Overland flood is water that comes in from outside, like a river or creek overflowing, or heavy surface water. Sewer backup is when sewage backs up from the pipes into the home. Regular water damage is often things like burst pipes inside the house. These are different coverages. When you review your policy, ask 3 clear questions. Do I have overland flood coverage? Do I have sewer backup coverage? How is water damage defined in this policy? Don't assume anything is included unless your broker confirms it in writing. Now let's talk about tenant insurance. You can't easily force a tenant to get insurance halfway through a lease if it wasn't part of the agreement from the start. The right way is to make it a material term of the tenancy when you sign. That means adding something like this to your agreement or addendum. The tenant agrees to obtain and maintain tenant insurance for the duration of the tenancy, including a minimum of $1 million personal liability coverage. Proof of insurance must be provided before possession and on renewal when requested. At move-in, you ask for proof, usually a simple certificate from their insurer. When possible, ask to be listed as an interested party, so you get a notice if the policy is canceled. Once a year, you can ask them to confirm their policy is still active. This isn't about distrust. It's about making sure that if something goes wrong, like a kitchen fire or water damage they cause, there is a policy in place on their side as well, and you're not chasing them personally for costs. Let's quickly connect this back to the real-world failures. If you only have standard water damage and no overland flood, a creek overflow might not be covered. If you have earthquake coverage but never thought about the deductible, you might technically be insured but practically unable to pay the deductible. If your unit sits empty longer than the policy allows and you don't tell the insurer, you can lose coverage for a later loss because of vacancy rules. If there's a fire started by the tenant and they have no liability coverage, you're in a much tougher position. None of these issues are fixed at claim time. They're fixed at renewal time with a short conversation and a clear list of questions. To close this module, here's the simple picture. You carry landlord insurance for the building or unit, your fixtures, your liability, and your rental income. Tenants carry their own insurance for their belongings, their liability, and their extra living costs. Strata carries insurance for the building and common areas, but the deductible can be charged back to you if a loss starts in your unit and you're responsible. You need all 3 pieces working together. Insurance isn't exciting, but it's foundational. One uncovered loss can wipe out years of careful work. In Module 10, we'll move from protection to people, tenant onboarding. We'll look at how to set expectations in the first days of a tenancy, so you reduce conflicts for the rest of the lease. When you're ready, join me in Module 10, Tenant Onboarding for BC Landlords.